Good morning, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, with a green shirt that is actually gray. And so you can see green on my face, but not on my gray shirt. I don't understand how this is happening. But anyway, I am here in the hotel room at SaltCon.
I love that you just threw that out there. My green shirt that is gray. He is wearing a green shirt. However, Gooey green is the exact color of a green screen.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of funny. It's just this is the green shirts that we all wear. And it's great. Well, look, even my hands are it's weird.
You look great.
I look like a zombie. Cameraman, are you not going to show us your face?
No, because I didn't have time to get everything together, so I don't look great right now.
Oh yes, it must have been my fault that I was late again this morning, but I wasn't late, so it kind of.
So I was letting everyone know in the comments that we are streaming from StreamYard right now, and that's the really fun program where we can show comments really easily. And so I mentioned if you had any questions for Alphinius, just type them up. And Silas sent us this one if you want to tackle that.
Yes, well, I must tell you that if Silas doesn't know, I'm not going to do it. but I'm sure there's some goo involved.
Oh my God. That was cringe.
And when I ponder it, goo is pretty much involved in everything, when you really think about it a little
bit. Let's just stop there. Although this is pretty funny. When two goos love each other very much.
You're killing me, y'all. So listen, I can't remember how much salt is at SaltCon. That's a good question. The lake is over here, that lake, and it's so salty. I don't know if y'all know this, but you could actually just lay there and kind of float. It's really hard to sink, even if you are a person who doesn't have too much extra, fat on yourself, well, which tends to float anyway. You float in that salty water. It's quite fascinating. So, but I'm assuming there's a lot of salty. There's not many salty people though, and that is nice.
How is the time at SaltCon? How are you guys doing?
No, we're having a great time, and we have met some wonderful folks, and of course, some of our friends are here. We've seen Poof and his new wife, Katie, and Kate, and August, and Daniel is here, and it's really, really fun. Yeah, I'll talk about that, Jim. We're gonna actually talk a little bit about Genghis and kind of do a recap of that. Mandy's got some pictures and stuff like that to show, and we're going to talk a little bit about Genghis and what a wonderful time, and then kind of go through some social media stuff, and then I'm going to do a little update on the Kickstarter. And that's true. Don't witches? I think witches float anyway. What about wizards? Do wizards float too?
I think only the ones that wear hats.
Oh yes, that's right. Good. That's because they use them for boats.
This is interesting. If you stay too long, you can die.
Oh, really? Is that true? Is that true? Because the salt just begins to leach out of your system or something like that? Is that what happens?
This is the weirdest Goo Morning Zyathé I think we've had so far. Starting with baby making discussions, and then up to let's get into the technicalities of floating with salt. And then someone just to tie this back in, it needs to do a salt themed one shot.
Oh yes, salt. Yes, the salt. Yes. The salty lake.
So we stay on track with our subject matter, but yeah.
So cameraman, you want to do social media first, or what do you want to do?
Oh, Harry wants me to make sure that we see this. I did not see it before. When Mommy GM, Daddy GM love each other very much.
Next thing you know, you get a little baby game master,
little adventurer. Anyway.
Harry, I just, as we're getting ready, one of the things I do want to talk about at Genghis was our marvelous chat that we had, you and I, and if you get a chance to watch last week's stream, Harry and I had a nice chat while we were at Genghis, and it's worth a watch. Harry was wonderful. So yeah, this was fun. Yes, cameraman, this is our westward. Apparently, Gooey Cube got westwarded, right? This is kind of
really cool. And I want to make sure that we got this on video because I want this forever recorded. I don't know, forever put into our collective history. So top 10 highlights from Denver's favorite gaming convention. And at the very top is Gooey. At the very top. And I know a lot of people already saw this on Facebook, but Facebook posts get lost. And I mean, this will eventually get lost in the YouTubes, but it just meant a lot that we got highlighted.
One of the MVPs of Genghis Con was Colorado Springs-based Gooey Cube. Yay, we are MVP. Yes.
That's us. They talked about our opening ceremony. It talked about the events that were run. And they actually have another picture of Corey down here too. So
well, and while we're doing that, I mean, look at this. Was not Donnie and Andrea, were they not so marvelous? And what a wonderful convention. Their staff was just
so good.
Right, Camera Mendy?
Yeah, I mean, they really put on something special. And I had multiple people come up to me and say this was the best convention they'd ever been to. And these are seasoned convention goers. These are people who love going to Gen Con and love going to these really big gaming conventions. But the intimacy of Genghis Con and the fact that you get so many one-on-one personal connections and everyone gets to feel special because there's something going on that you can be included in, and it's not too big to the point where you get shoved out. I mean, I just think that, like, in terms of the feedback I got, was that it was the best that people had gone to in a long time.
Yes, so. Indeed. And there was a lot of Gooey people there, and that was wonderful. And of course, we are from Colorado, so a lot of our friends that we had met from the past. And there's Jameson, and we're not Jameson and Satine and Jeff from Chaosium. Were they not wonderful to?
Oh my goodness!
To give us this time on the stream and help us raise money for charity. And then Marvelous Harry matches the gifts that we were giving, and then we did a little lottery raffle for a game with Harry, and raised another $321 or so that we gave to You Don't Fight Alone, which was another charity that is there with Marvelous Keaton. And of course, there's Corey and there's Carrie. And
there I am in the background. This is me being sneaky.
Yeah, there you are right there. Like there's half a Camera Mendy. Look, there's Camera Mendy.
This is getting the camera because we were shooting B-roll. And I'm really excited because we did interviews with a lot of these people. I think I got like 12 interviews with people about Gooey Cube and what draws them to Gooey Cube. And I'm going to get a video together for next Kickstarter.
Well, and Camera Mendy, we've got these wonderful game masters, so many of them. I can't list them all. There's Alexander, of course, and Charles is doing stuff for us, and he kind of just hides in the background, doesn't say anything. These are miniatures that they actually made for the Darkest Dream, right? Do you see that there? There's Rezor Hayes is there, and Fleegan. I mean, this is just magnificent. And this is Stacy. Stacy had a new tattoo that she wanted to show us all, which is just quite beautiful. And Stacy, was there, and she's just marvelous. And
I did not spend enough time with her. I only got to say hi to her once. So.
Yeah, she is great. She's really. And this is where we are. So this is what Jim was asking about. Jim put in money, and a number of folks who are sitting around that table. Dan is there. Andrew is there. They all put in money to be able to play in this game with Harry. And that was where we raised most of the money that we were able to give to You Don't Fight Alone. So it was really, and it was a great thing. We're going to probably publish this as a module, assuming we can do this next Kickstarter and it does well. We're going to probably publish this. It's called The Mud Mounds of Bleak Bottom Bog, and it's a pretty cool little tale. And we didn't really get all the way into it because we only could play for 8 hours. But I think it's got tremendous potential, and we just had a fun time with Jim, and James was there, and it was just wonderful.
So I have a question. Are we going to do another raffle for Gen Con?
So we've got to talk with the Gen Con folks and kind of figure out when our timing is. Satine and Jameson have already recommitted that they are definitely going to be a part of it at Gen Con, so that will be wonderful. And then we've also been told that Nate and Stefan from Dwarven Forge, my favorite terrain company in the world. There's Chris, my favorite terrain company in the world. are going to also participate, and we're going to show some of their prototypes of their upcoming stuff for their Kickstarter, which I'm not going to mention too much about it, but it might have something to do with the Gloom port and the docks. So we're pretty excited about that. And of course, there's Carrie's little daughter, Rin, and she was marvelous. And I mean, there's so many wonderful pictures here, with all of our friends who came. And I hope that many of you will come next year and join us at this place. Yeah, there is the Dungeon of Doo Nix that was very, very popular. Again, we got a lot of wonderful responses from people, from all of our wonderful game masters who were there. Adam came in. I also, I don't know if y'all know this, but Star stepped in and game mastered to help us out. And that was really quite amazing. And of course, you can see right in the background, you showed a picture. There's Corey made Westward with his marvelous Carnival that is there, and he's in the far back. And it was really, really fun. I mean, there's Charity playing in Adam's game. I see you there, Charity. And
Charity's one of the people who came up to me to say that she had such a blast. This was her favorite con, and she mostly played Gooey Cube games. And that's
yeah. Well, we continue, and of course Casey is the fearless leader of all of that, and he really pushes hard to try to help everybody make sure that we're organized and all of that. And then there's behind the scenes things. There's Chris running the game right there, and you can see all our handouts on the table. There's Adam. And really, our tables were always full, and people just said wonderful, wonderful things. So, of course, we met Jeff from Chaosium, and he was marvelous. And Stefan was in the Twitch stream for the from Dwarven Forge, in the Twitch stream for the almost entire Great Gooey Game Show. And I mean, it was just, what a wonderful, wonderful time. I still, I'm waxing nostalgic on it. Matt wrote a post in the Gooey Den about sort of having a letdown, right? And I agree with him. I was having a little letdown myself, because it was so good. So, you're gonna do that's right. You're gonna do the Nerf Harry. You're gonna do the mud mounts 4 times, right? That's the plan.
Awesome.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
And I stopped on this picture because there was actually something really cool. So I have a close-up of this, and I should post it in the den. So Adam and Star made these really cool, I don't know what you'd call them, tags, I guess.
Yeah, and the tags that they put on their Game Master skin.
And it's the character portrait, and then on the back they made it so it was dry erase, so they could write the names of the people playing. And I just thought that was such a great personal touch. And you talked about Star, I got to talk to her a bunch, and she was I never thought I'd ever GM a game. I never thought it, but she kind of got put into the position of just needing to do it, and she ran it, and she had such a fun time, and she's going to be GMing again for the online games at Gen Con, and she's excited as crap about it. Excited as crap. Is that a term? Anyway, but so yeah, I agree. It's hard not to get like really excited and nostalgic about these things, just because like the other cons, like you're at SaltCon right now. You know, Josh is there, and you're getting, and I have pictures to show of that too. But there's something about having so many Gooey Cube people in one place and just feeling that energy. It's magical. So
well, I was telling people, Cameron Mendy, that in our youth we used to go. There was probably about when we were gaming in the long ago days. We had goodness gracious, a group of probably 10 or 12 of us that played together. Some of us semi-regularly and some of us regularly, and a lot of us would go to the conventions together. And it's really nothing like going to a convention with a group of people, because it's not just gaming together, right? You go out to dinner, you grab some food, you sit and have drinks. I mean, we had this incredible discussion, it was just wonderful, where we sat around talking about, sort of the mechanics of corruption magics. And of course, one of the wonderful things here was Marvelous Carrie, came and we got to meet her in person for the first time, because she and Alexander are now married, and they came from Florida, and it's just, this is just a wonderful thing. So to have all these friends together and doing all of this fun stuff together, and having a hamburger or having a beer and just enjoying the friends you have made. You know, this is just what it is right there. You know, this is quite a production that Corey puts on. You know, with and his name is Lokabutt.
So since we're here on Lokabutt, I have an announcement. So on April 30th, we are going to be streaming Lokabutt running the Carnival on our Twitch. And that's to give me some more experience with live streaming with mini cameras and getting it right. And so put it on your calendar, April 30th. It'll be after Goo Morning Zyathé, probably around 2 in the afternoon. And we're going to do a 2 or 3 hour session with Corey with 4 players around the table. Maybe Alphinius will be one of them. We'll see. And we're going to be running the Carnival in our office. So
yes, very, very exciting. So you know, this Carnival is very popular, as you can imagine, and so I hope some of you can come and watch. And it really, you know, no pressure, but we want to give Camera Mandy some practice, and Corey is a marvelous game. Yes, that's right. Dude's name is Luke, but that's what I say all the time. Yes, Jim. Yeah.
So yeah, as of right now, we'll put it on the calendar, April 30th, probably around 2, but we need to finalize the time because we also have to have enough time to set up the Carnival and get everyone in. And anyways, it's going to be a really fun afternoon. And so if you can join us, we hope you do. And I'm excited to, again, we need to perfect our processes. I have received amazing feedback about our stream that we did, but it was about 1/10 of what I had planned for the stream because our equipment kept going down. It was a trial, but it's fine.
Listen, I think that
it turned out good.
The fact of the matter is, you know, it taught us a lot of things. We're going to put in some added wrinkles in for the Gen Con stream. We're going to have some possibilities, more significant possibilities of characters actually dying. We are going to have some rooms where there might be different activities occurring. So there might, rather than just being 4 things that can happen, we think there could be as many as 8 different things that are randomly happening. And there might even be some opportunities for players to wager some of their dungeon points and that kind of thing. And then we're also going to make sure that our studio audience is broken up into 4 sections. So this is all good feedback that we've gotten from people. And it will be a 2-hour program. It'll have some wonderful prizes again given away. We gave away a lot of prizes in this last one. And in fact, Camera Mandy, because Elle has been with us, has been working really, really hard to make sure we get everybody's prizes out that we can. You know, there's a few people that obviously won things like the limited edition West Verdesti at home, which we are just now in the process of getting ready to print. We haven't even printed the limited edition. We've only done the ones to fulfill the Kickstarter. So some people have been waiting patiently for quite a long time for some prizes from a long time ago. But most are going to start seeing stuff coming in their mail here very, very soon because Camera Mandy worked really hard with Ali to kind of pull all this together over the last week. And so we thank you for that. Camera Mandy is marvelous.
A lot of the people in the chat have been harassed by me in the last week. Like, what's your address? What's your updated address? This is actually a good segue. If you could put your name in the chat next to your Twitch name. I have a spreadsheet started. It'll make our lives a little bit easier if we have a list between Twitch names and real life names. Yeah, thank you. That's perfect. Yeah, just if you could just do that, or if you want to if you don't want your real life name on the thing, if you could just message me with it. I have a spreadsheet started, and I'm trying to get it a little bit more organized because one thing that we realized was that we sent out these forms for people to fill out to collect their prizes, but then we didn't have a field on the form for their Twitch name. So I'm like, who are you? And there's also a Facebook post with this as well.
We got Discord handles, we got Twitch handles, we got their names, or sometimes they're fake names in the group. And it's a little rough, it's a little tough to keep track of everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Because we know you by so many different things. So
like Harry is Nerf Herder. I mean, seriously now, you know what I'm saying?
But don't. What did he say? I don't know. There was a funny post that he funny comment that he put in there. Anyway, but yeah, I really appreciate it. I'll go add everyone to the sheet. Anyway, and then the second announcement, there were a couple people who have not claimed their prizes yet from our the one that we just did, and so just please look at your whispers if you won something on the stream, because if not, I'm going to re-roll those prizes to make sure.
Re-roll. You don't want to lose the re-roll. That's not good.
So, yeah, and I think that's about it for me. I'm going to show some social media stuff.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
But listen, thanks to all who participated at Genghis Con. Thanks to all who came and just gamed with us, and just had a great time. Thank you all for making it so fun for us. It was wonderful.
Absolutely. And we look forward, because I know there's going to be another big group of people that we see in Gen Con, and we're super looking forward to that. So
we'll be at Gary Con here, in about 2 weeks, something like that. We're going to be 2.5 weeks. We're going to be at Gary Con. So that'll be really fun. Oh yeah. This is the beginning of the trip. This is where we set out, right?
On your little adventure. Oops.
Yeah, and then
here.
Yeah, look at how you're totally messing these things up, Cameron.
I don't know what to say, so I have a whole slideshow, and it's just being obnoxious. Just give me a second, guys. So,
well, while she fixes that, I'll talk just a little bit about SaltCon. So SaltCon happens in Salt Lake City. It's the biggest con in Utah, and it's a little bit like Genghis in terms of size. It's not huge, and it's not. It's pretty intimate with a lot of people here, gaming. There's a lot of tabletop gaming that goes on, and it's a nice little con. And it was actually before the whole COVID thing that happened. It was the last con that we attended before all the conventions were canceled in 2020. So yes, this here. Yeah, these people, with Mike and Elle were giving me grief, right? So I put down my glasses and pretended like I was. I did not. And pretended I was sleeping, but then they got a picture of me, so then they were able to use it against me.
Okay.
And then Corey got involved.
I'm sorry, guys. I had a whole slideshow, but it does not, I don't know why StreamYard's kind of just being kind of lame right now. So.
Well, you can just bounce back and forth and put.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just bounce back. I'm going to go to the next one, bounce back to you, and then bounce back.
Yeah, back and forth. That'll work great. Make you seasick, right? Is what it will do. Yeah, this next one that Mandy's going to show is pretty funny. This was Corey did this, right? So making Genghis Con all gooey, right? And then we partied for a couple of days afterwards. And then, yes, of course, suddenly there I am, right? The sleep spell cast upon myself, right? This is, yeah, this is something. So, Jim, it is definitely all tabletop or TTRPGs. Yeah, it's not really any kind of pop culture thing. There's not a lot of cosplay even very much around here. So it's mostly just a lot of gamers. We actually, again, did very, very well the first couple of days, which is marvelous. I think more and more people just are hearing about us, which is magnificent. This was our hope, in 2020 that we would be starting to go to conventions and people would hear about us and hear about all of our materials and be excited to be a part of all we're doing with the community and all of that stuff. And of course, we got all kind of shut down. But as you saw, I think we've got, some 30, 40 new folks that just were excited to come to the den. And we told them all, we bribed them all with a little sticker or a badge beard or something like that and said, listen, come just check it out. If you don't like it, just drop, and, virtually every one of them, has popped in, and we've had some nice chats already with new folks who came from SaltCon. And we expect over the next day or two, we'll add another quite substantial number of folks. And it's, people are attracted to this. You tell them they can have a chance to put a character or a monster or a place into the world, and it just captures people's imagination, And I was not that late. I arrived precisely when I meant to, camera Mandy.
The reason I am putting this one up here, because I just need you to understand. I need the audience to understand. This is the the caption. When you're sitting in the hotel lobby waiting on Alphinius Goo and he's not answering his phone, but he's on Facebook. Ring, ring, paging Alphinius. Now, as a Goo crew, we have all felt the pain of waiting for Alphinius at the office or to do something or this, that, or the other thing. And we see him on Facebook commenting back to everyone. And we're like, you're supposed to be here recording with me, or you're supposed to be here going over this with me or that with me. And so I just needed everyone to understand the pain of this picture here. It's like we know.
They look at how pained they look. They look so pained. Yes, so pained.
Yes.
We were over. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, I know
everything about the community.
There was one night where we had a game. I was like an hour late for this game because I was waiting for Alphinius to come record. And I was literally watching him comment on Facebook and getting notifications. And I'm like, Alphinius, get in the car.
Listen, I've gotten moving violations trying to get to your thing on time.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
No, my friends, listen, I tell you, I cannot tell you what joy I get from you all, and not just the joy of smiles and because of the goofy jokes and funny things that people post up in the den, but also just the spur from my creativity. And I've said this to you before, many of you all know, the creative business, the advertising business was my career. And I've really spent my life trying to be more observant and watching of creative things, and to go into the den and see the images that people post and the ideas that they put forth and the interesting writings. It is so good. I completely agree with you, Sustained. We have a very special group here, and they're kind to each other. Even if somebody says something mean, it's quickly mitigated, and it's really you better be a lot younger and in better shape. Oh, cameraman. Yeah, a lot. No, I agree. This is exactly right. We sat there, right? This was fascinating because I shared with people, and I think I've shared a little bit, that the world of Zyathé now, we've kind of figured out how sort of the atoms, right? I'm sure it is, Harry, that how Fabio minutes. You better be really burly.
Like, I cannot put up comments because Alphinius can't finish his thought or his sentence before.
So we were having this wonderful discussion, right, about how the Zyathés, the magic, right, this thing that Avova made, sort of glued everything together, but also, was part and parcel to the warping of things, right? And oh yeah, Jim, I always will try to help. Listen, you get older, you start thinking about what really matters, and without getting too waxing philosophical, there's not a whole lot of things that matter other than sort of leaving behind consideration and friendship and love and relationship. And it's just stop it, Harry. And I just really believe that is something for me, sort of a personal mission going forward. Anyway, so we sat around, we did this wonderful chat, and there was like 20 of us. There's gooey people all over the place, right? We're sitting around and probably drinking more than we should have been, truth be told, right? Corey was supposed to leave, and he's staying. He's got James and Austin staying at his house. And they are staying, and they want to leave and get out of there, and he stays, and we're talking, and Matt's there, and everybody's there. We're all sitting there talking about how the atoms of Zyathé are kind of come together, and how are they being warped by the corruption of the nether flow and all of this stuff. It was just a great pseudo-scientific conversation, and it just makes your brain ting, right? And when your brain tings, right, it helps. It's like flexing that creativity muscle. That's why when I put up things like, tell us a tale, write a paragraph. If you're a writer and you got 5 minutes, write a paragraph. Now, I'm not doing that necessarily because I want to read them, although I do. I read them all. But I'm also doing that for your benefit because I really believe that a quick exercise in writing actually helps your writing. And so I just encourage you to do that. I also encourage you to join the Writers Guild. on the Discord every Saturday morning. They had one this morning right before this stream, and it's in the Discord. There's typically about 15, 20 folks that are in there. Marvelous Kaya and James and Jens, they sort of head that up, and they always bring up interesting topics, and it's definitely worthwhile if you want to improve your writing. There's obviously no cost to it. And I know this, you kept putting this up, so we were able to get it.
You said Kaya, and I was like, segue.
All right, segue. I got it. So yes, not last night, but the night before last, we had the opportunity to go out to enjoy a marvelous dinner with Kaya and Joshua and their kids, and we went to this wonderful little Indian restaurant, and it was joyful and totally fun. And then last night we went out with Poof and August and Poof's new wife Kate, who we were very pleased to meet. She's a very dear person. And then we're hoping tonight to do some other things, and then we're gonna get the heck out of here tomorrow. I guess it's gonna snow on our way home, Camera Mendy, so we'll do our best on the drive to keep ourselves safe.
Please drive safe. I mean, Elle's with you, so
yeah, we got to take care of Elle. Forget the rest of us.
Exactly. Okay, so whilst we were talking, people were throwing out subjects for you to get distracted by, but they actually asked some like really good questions. Okay, so I don't know that Luke is going to be on the game show. That would be really cool if he was.
So we're not doing the game show at Genghis Con. So
that's right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought we meant at Con, but you're right. Someone had asked me if
we won't be doing that. I'm looking forward to talking to Luke. He and I chatted a while back about him possibly doing co-authoring an adventure with us, and I'm hoping that he is still interested. He was interested in it at the time. He's such a great guy. I just can't believe, again, this whole geek thing. There's just so many dear people who really aren't full of themselves. They're just just really down to earth folks, and they care, and they're kind, and it's just a marvelous experience to have that. So I don't think Luke will be at Gen Con, but I might mention it to him, Harry, since you said so. So see if maybe we can scramble Luke in there too. We'll see. I don't know how that all works. So yeah, that's right.
This is rapid fire questions. Don't be shy about keeping it briefer. So
yeah, go ahead, because we're just having a little fun this morning. Obviously, we're not going to try to do a tour with me out of studio, and I do need to get over there because Saturday is going to be a big day, and I want to make sure I help Mike and Elle. They're there by themselves. So although they are fabulous, I mean, they just really, people love them. They love chatting to them and chatting with them. And really, you can't imagine, when people walk up, it's the same thing. They look at our stuff and they go, I've never seen anything like this. And we are all tired, Matt, there's no question. But, and of course we got the day job too, right? That's the problem, right? We've got the day job, and so we're battling with that. And, but we got Gamma next week, and that we're excited for that, and hopefully beginning our retail foray. All these things that we were supposed to do, 2 years ago, we are now getting to do. So that is kind of exciting. So, yeah, that was the big question. I think that Newell is, but it really is a tale still in the telling. So we'll have to see.
Can we get back to this one? Abava is covering up the true nature of the universe before him.
Well, who knows? Is this possible? Because there are strange things afoot in the creation, and I do think, really, even though a lot of people sit around and go, that's really geeking, right? You're really in super geek territory when you start talking about what are the atoms of the Eterniverse look like, right? I was going to mention that geeky in a moment. I'm going to say that in a minute. So I will answer that question.
You can always finish your thought and then get to the next question.
Well, as long as you leave it up there. Sometimes you pull it down, then I forget. So.
Oh, I see. You just forget what you're talking about.
So all of the atoms that are in the Eterniverse, as many know now, are icosahedrons, which are 20-sided polygons, and so 20-sided polygons. I think that's what it is. Yes. Anyway, so they're 20-sided dice, right? So these are the ellimics that make up the entire Eterniverse, and then they come together and they attach on different faces to form different atoms, if you will, of the Eterniverse. And the Zyathés is what sort of holds them together and it gives them energy and all of this kind of stuff. So it's pseudoscientifically plausible, even though it's not really probably plausible. And so we talked about all of this stuff and how it worked and how does the nether flow come in there. And then, of course, then came up the four lords of corruption. And then there was a huge debate over whether Nu'ul was actually really one of the four lords or sort of on the outcasts of them, right? And I actually would argue that all four of them, even though they are somewhat allied and aligned, they're also very, if you look at each one of their sort of desires, their desires are sort of in contrast with each other. So there's conflict even between the four lords, which you would expect. So this kind of thing, I think, makes for a very interesting dynamic. And of course, there's even more. And cameraman, you need to put that back up so I can see that. But Geeky, to answer your question, they are not actually closed yet because we haven't closed them. We meant to, but I don't think Elle has done so. And so if you still want to squeeze one in for the Gloom port, you can squeeze one in for the Gloom port.
I'm excited for the Gloom port. There's a
me too.
little section about the Hatters.
Yeah, that's right. They are a nefarious group that will soon be wiped out by the good guys.
I'm sorry. I thought this would be rapid fire, but then I forgot that Alphinius can't keep anything concise. So.
Yeah, that was fun, Jim. That was fun sitting there with Matt and of course Whitney was marvelous. I would give a little props to Whitney. I haven't mentioned her. She sat there and helped us build that right along with you, Jim. And a number of others. Kerry was big on that, helping us to build the dungeon, which was wonderful. And that was quite a lot of joy, to do that. So. When you say the Harlequins, are you speaking sort of the jesters, that group? Is that what we're speaking of? Alpha Ferret, I think that's Damien. Forgive me if I'm wrong on your handle. It's just hard to remember all the time. But are you speaking of the jesters, the clowns, those people that sort of dance around? I would say it hasn't been determined yet, but I would say it seems very reasonable since they are mimes, right? That they would have some kind of sort of language between them. Certainly, when you experience them in chapter 1, they do somehow sort of seem to speak to each other, right? So that's there. Yeah, this was something. Kevin put this up. What a beautiful image. There's just so many talented people in the world. And I always, one thing I do, which I just encourage you to do as well, whether you're a writer or an illustrator, whatever you do, this creativity, you're creative. Take a moment to actually study an image. Don't just look at it and flip by it. Take a moment to study it and see, kind of the arc of the body, right? And how it just, it's coming out of the lava and how the hair flies backwards. It's just really glorious how some of these marvelous artists are able to do these things, because most of us simply can't do this, and Kevin, I thank you for always, you and Keith and Jim and Pam and Adam, and I'm missing a couple of folks, but they always put up really these beautiful images that really make you just go, wow, just wow. And if you take a moment to sort of ponder them, you take a moment to look at them rather than and study them a little bit, I actually think it tings your brain, right? And helps you to keep sort of your creative spark and your creative spunk. So what else you got there, Camera Mendy?
Another one that I agree, it's kind of a similar thing. And I only am sharing screenshots from artists that are noted on the screen, just to. We always want to try to credit artists. This is really important, my friends. We don't want to take people's images and just post them up without an artist attribution. Yes. Just first of all, that helps to stop pirates who want to take people's work and actually use it for themselves, and that's not what we're doing here, obviously. And so we want to always make sure we do artist attribution. This is beautiful. Pam put this up. So this is not an illustration. This is actually a place, I believe it was in Czechoslovakia,
This is actually an inn and a restaurant, or maybe just a restaurant by itself. But look at that. This is like, wow, this is a place you'd go, you go with Frodo, right? I mean, it's like, wow, goodness gracious, and again, you rather than just looking at it, take a moment to ponder it, and all of a sudden, as you ponder, right, things come to your mind, right, and that's the tinging of the brain, right? This is this thing that happens for creative people, and I just encourage you to always take a moment, and I know, Mandy, you do this a lot. I know you look at lots of video. I know you look at lots of imagery because it helps. It helps you to flex your creative muscles. Yes.
The thing that helps me the most, the thing that gets me the most inspired to do a video is the music. Which is interesting because I'm not musical. I don't know anything about music. But if I hear, like, if you guys know the Zyathé, like, it's kind of like a stomp type Zyathé video that I did. That was entirely because I heard that track and I was like, okay, what can I do with this? And like Beauty of Zyathé, which is that really pretty, well, I'm going to say it. I love that video. It's very pretty. I think it's really good. That's music. And then I listened to it about 1,000 times. Okay, that's an exaggeration. I listened to it about 50 times. That's not an exaggeration. And then that's how I come up with what I'm going to do with that video.
Yes. So, and we have some marvelous musicians in our group too, right? So Evan is a musician. Of course, Martin actually makes music, and John is out there, and we have more than a few that make music. And Gelsinger, is a singer. I mean, it's just I'm actually thinking, somebody was writing some stuff. I was thinking we could maybe get a bunch of us together, get together at Gen Con and all sing Myron the Ugly Troll like we were in a tavern. So I was thinking if we could do that, cameraman, put that in your mind,
Do that.
And I have not listened to that Planescape music, but I want to now that I want to. So I need to keep track of that, cameraman, because I'm gonna listen to that soundtrack.
I'll remind you. I'll send you a note. What is Morgan's Folly?
Scott, you got to clarify that one for me because it's not coming to my brain, But I am excited because we are working on the next map, which is the Gravenston the area of the Goonport. And we do, Lydia, we need CPRDs.
I have for over a year said, Ellen Kim, I want to do a sea shanty. I want to do it so bad. And so if somebody knows how to do a sea shanty and like do it well, please contact me because I think that would be super fun.
Come down to the sea, right? It's got that kind of thing, right? It's got that very sort of consistent beat, and it's the 20s, right? They got that wonderful thing going on.
Okay, Morgan's Folly is the ship outside.
Oh, it is outside the Gloom-port. Yes, you need to do a scenescape for that. It's exactly right.
More scenescapes will be coming. I'm really excited to get on, but first we have to get prizes out because that's.
We need to take care of all of our friends, get these prizes to people, right? And it's a huge stack. I mean, when we're saying it's a lot of money that we're giving away in prizes, it's a lot of money that we give away in prizes. And we want the audience to have fun, and sometimes winning something is kind of fun, right? Trey, I saw your little Flowmaster thing, that Flowmaster Flow or whatever you did this morning. It was great.
I love chats like this. You know what? I love when we do remote streams like this, and it's just chit chatting with people in the stream. Like I love.
Well, we're having coffee together in the morning, right? We can start together, right? So it's.
I wouldn't want to do it all the time just because I love our tours and I love learning about Zyathé, but I do love these mornings where we're just hanging out with our friends and just talking about stuff. So thank you all for joining us and making this really fun. So
yeah, was this not cute? This little gelatinous cube that Chris put up, the gelatinous cube adventurer.
So this is Lauren Walsh art on Twitter, and I just cannot get over how adorable this cube is.
Yeah, really nice. Really fun. Yeah, Morgan's Folly. I wish if we were really good cameramen, we'd be able to bring up that picture real fast, but it's just too hard with all the artwork we have done. But outside of the Gloom-port, past the Belfry Lighthouse, out there in the Dark Silver Bay, is this ship that has been fully grounded upon a rock, and there's a lot of tale and such about it. And indeed, as we work on the Gloom-port, that little place is going to come to life, along with some other things. I think I mentioned last stream that it does look like we're going to in Gravenston, up there to the north of the Gloom-port, that top area where Strong Arm McGillen's and the Knight's Edge Tavern, the Knight's Edge Outfitters is, and a number of other places. There's going to be a citadel called Genghis Con, and we're going to do an adventure called Darkness in Genghis Con, which we are going to put out as a limited edition. We will still sell it after Gen Con, but we're going to put out a special limited edition version at Gen Con that you can get for free at our booth with any purchase, I think, of $20 or more. So it's a $30 adventure. You spend $20, you get a $30 adventure. And I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that because it'll be a Gen Con special. And I've got to talk to some of the folks at Gen Con about how we do it and put it together. But basically, if you look up there, beyond that citadel, there's a flat area that you see. That's the Verdigris Citadel, that tower, that strange tower complex that's there. Yes, beyond that, there's actually a flat area that the river goes down, and then it goes into a cave, and then there's a large area behind it, and that is where Gravenston is, and so that is where Genghis Con Citadel will be found, and so we're pretty excited about all this coming together. And being able to take our players into the Gloom-port and have that experience. So
okay, I'm gonna keep trying to find that. But next up, let's talk this image here. Hold on. Okay, hold on. This has sparked a really interesting discussion in our Facebook group about tributes to other monsters and how original can we be with monsters after like hundreds of years of interesting fantasy writing.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, when you ponder it for a minute, right, and you think about just the last 30 years, right, 40 years, and especially as technology has become available and it's much more prolific because of people being able to use these Photoshop tools and these Illustrator and other tools that are available, right, to be able to create these things. And I love Nuul as we have it here. But I actually, it was pointed out to me that there is a Marvel creature called Null, Null, which I know no one can trademark Null, but Null happens to be a big ball of eyeballs with tentacles. So I don't know. We might have to mess around with this one a little bit, but and also most of that is based on the Cthulhu mythology, right? This Lovecraft mythology, this sort of space, as Ryan Hipp called it, the space tentacles, right? And so I don't know. I mean, I love this image. I think it's fantastic, and I don't know truly how easy it is to come up with wholly original things anymore. I really most things are based on other things, and even still, most inspiration is based on on things we have seen and things we have heard and things we have imagined based on things that have come to us. So I don't know. I'm kind of partial to Nuul looking like that big old mouth that could even devour worlds and all of this kind of stuff. But we may mess around with it a little bit just because I know I don't really want to try to get into a fight with anybody's, especially Disney. Disney. That mouse got a lot of big lawyers.
Because it is. There's actually. I won't go into it too much. There's a really interesting discussion happening in the Facebook group about this, and if that kind of stuff intrigues you, Alphinius, like one of the things that everyone really likes about him is that he's very open to conversations, and it's like if you bring that up, he wants to actually have that conversation with you. So
I'd rather if somebody knows that something's out, because this Null character that was created by Marvel, I think it was a 70s character, and I haven't seen or heard of it ever. And this is the kind of this is the almost and Nuul obviously is a derivative of Null, right? Which you really can't trademark things like Null, right? And I know this from my advertising background. you can't trademark common terms for anything. And but the combination of a ball of eyeballs with tentacles and the name Null, and then we have a tentacled creature with a big mouth, admittedly, and not lots of eyeballs. It's just a little close. So I might have to dance around with this a little bit, but that's okay. It's fun, and I'd rather know about it. Trey was actually the one who pointed it out to me, and I appreciate it, Trey. That I'd rather know about it than not, because it could save us from a cease and desist and trouble, in the future. I do love it too, Trey. I really, when you ponder that, and this was the big discussion, right? This was the discussion. The discussion was, does Newell really in conflict with the other three lords? Because Newell wants nothing, right? Newell kind of wants it back to the void, right? Before the dreamer dreamed the first dream. And so this was all this wonderful conjecture and discussion that happened when we were sitting together on, I think it was Saturday night. I think it was Friday night, because Matt and Whitney left on Saturday in the evening. So it was really wonderful, and this is the fun of being together with your friends, right? So yes, so this cameraman, what you just put up here, this is we are continuing with our creation of sort of illustrations of the servants of the gods, and this is one of the chaotic good servants of Venefane, and I really love the image, and I thought you all would love the image, and so I'm going to put these up every once in a while, though likely the next couple of days you'll see mostly pictures from SaltCon and such like that.
Okay, we have a few more things. I was not able to find the folly.
Yeah, the problem is it's not titled that in the images, right?
I can't really get on Facebook to do it because my internet is being used to stream. So
don't lag us, right? Don't do that. Right?
Unfortunately, we'll have to pull it up and talk about it a different time. So here is a really cool setup from Charles.
Yeah, Charles did this, and this was running actually the well encounter and the Brood Queen and all of the stuff that happens down there, which is marvelous. Plus, also Charles showed us a picture of the Kissing Rogues NSRE, and that's just, that carnival. And I'm going to tell you all this wonderful thing that has happened, right? Because what's the wonderful thing about having this community and so many people playing the games is you get wonderful feedback. And I really think that when we do our next printing of Chapter 1, I am going to recommend to people that they run Carnival over 2 days, or even 3 if they want to add some of their own sort of things to the mix.
Oh, I think
because people are saying that it's a lot to get in their minds in one day. Now, honestly, in true time, they probably could get it all in. But you know what? Honestly, I believe in savoring a tale anyway. And since so many folks have said, running Carnival over a couple of days is a better idea, I think it is a better idea. And so we're going to make that adjustment. And Harry, you asked that question. I am going to tell you, I do think that there are many things I am not gifted in, many. But for some reason, I could come up with lots of really interesting names of lots of things. It's kind of a useless skill unless you play TTRPGs.
It's a great skill.
Yes, the Ventenium Alunax. Yes, that is a creation of yours truly.
So, I want to piggyback on your idea to do another a updated. Not necessarily rewrite the books, or definitely don't do that, because I love Carnival as it is, but just including, here are some ideas that you can do as a GM to adjust this, because you have to understand that when we started this, we had a few play testing groups, but it was mostly Alphinius and Mike and AJ and someone who we don't have with us anymore named Jeremy, writing all this stuff and coming up with it, and the feedback that we've gotten from people is just invaluable. And yeah, and there's certain things that you just wouldn't even think about until you actually had people give you that feedback. I remember it was Adam, my husband, he was playing a bard, and he's like, I don't have any spells left. And we had been playing over several sessions. And then Alphinius is like, well, here's some ideas that you can do to get people back spell slots and stuff like that, to make sure that they're not just having to hoard their few level 1 spells. They can do some cool things if you work these mechanics into your game. So
well,
it's
really, cameraman, you know this. I don't really care for the resting concept, and I don't really care for the what I consider to be sort of the pushing of the cleric aside. And I know that it was born of generally people don't like to play healers. Generally, there's this thing that many people literally start their games at third level, which I don't even understand. If you're gonna have a first and second level and it's so boring and so bad, why do you even have first and second level? It doesn't, just get rid of it, right? I actually believe that low levels are the most fun levels if they're played correctly. But some of the things that we have done in our home games and things like that make them more fun, we're trying to get people to think about themselves. There really is no reason not to give all of your spellcasters this extra 3 first level spell slots and let them have them forever. Don't even worry about it. This idea that we worked on with Alexander and a couple of others, and Kerry, and sort of coming up with this idea of how there could be maybe healing as separate from the cleric. So the cleric actually has healing spells, but also has the ability to have other spells. All it does is delay resting. And I don't love resting. I think it's kind of a fight and rest and fight and rest and fight and rest. And it just, part of the game for me is the tension of resource depletion. And part of the fear, right, is slowly, is this for the weak, is the depletion of resources, which ultimately begins to create more tension, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I only got 2 spells left. What am I going to do, right? What am I going to do? How are we going to do this? We're stuck here or whatever. And so I don't really want to have that tension removed. Hey, Mandy, Harry, I think, put up a comment earlier about you put it up like 3 or 4 things earlier that I did want to address. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. If you could find that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll find it.
But really, for me, what I would rather do, if first and second level are not appealing, either get rid of them or make them appealing. And that yes, stay with that for a second, cameraman. Thank you. That idea of making it more appealing really improves the game. And I know because I've played this now with so many people. When I'd sit at a table at a convention or sit at a table with people I hadn't played with before, and I'd say, listen, your magic user, and this was in the old days, man, when cantrips were even not, this was in the old days where you cast a couple spells as a magic user and you were throwing daggers for the rest of the night. It was just awful, right? And so all of a sudden I tell these casters, well, you have your regular spell, you have any bonuses you get from your wisdom or your intelligence or whatever it happens to be, right? Plus you also get 3 extra first level spells. And these people would look at me and go, what? And some people would get mad. They'd say, you're totally unbalancing the game. And that's crap, just so you understand. There is no unbalancing of the game. Because as a game master, you are always in balance. And I always want you to remember this. Just remember this forever, my friends. Over the course of time, if you play it straight, math will tell you that whether it be here or here or here or here, along the timeline of your character's adventures, there will be a TPK. They will all be wiped. That is statistics. And so really, when you ponder your game mastering is designed to give them a wonderful challenge and not kill them. Because the ultimate end of statistics would say that every party is going to get wiped virtually because just of how the dice eventually roll. And so when you start pondering these kinds of things and you start thinking what your job is as a game master, I want to give a really challenging game to my players. A challenging game, challenging enough that it couldn't end up in character death and could even in the extreme end up in a character TPK. But I don't want that to be the normal course of action, that it happens all the time, because that's not fun. So this is sort of, as you philosophize around your game mastering, this is part of the things you have to think about. And I agree with you, Harry. I wanted to say this. I think if I were truly going to run Carnival today, knowing what I know, having played it now a few times, having had all this feedback from people, I would probably run Carnival over 3 days. And I would probably also bring a few other things to the table of my own. That is right, Silas. That is exactly right. It's for fun. It is all about fun. And I would run Carnival over 3 days and try to really bring some extra salt. I'd try to run every NSRE because there's so many good ones. Again, I'd probably add a few of my own. And I think Carnival is more fun. It also gives an opportunity to build more tension between the constable and the troop and all of this stuff. And I think it should be done. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Alpha Ferret, because what you don't want is you don't want them to ever feel exactly what you are saying here, that they don't have to be smart and wise and cautious so that they don't end up dead. And I've certainly killed characters. I don't ever feel good about it. I especially characters been around for a while, and it for me it makes me feel bad. so I usually have some alternatives and some ways to sort of mitigate these things. But we have had funerals where people were upset, at the loss of their friend, and that's immersive gaming right there, right? That's the thing we're trying for. So. I hope people are enjoying this. This has been fun this morning.
I agree. It is 11. It is 11:01. So
yes, it
is time for us to head out. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And generally, I know these remote streams where we don't have like tours and stuff like that, I know they're really low key, but I really love them. I love being able to just have questions and talk. Just chat with you guys.
Well, and also, if people want something different out of these, and they just tell us, but if you're enjoying these too, let us know. So, because this stream is about making it fun for all of us together, not just for you to sit around and hear Camera Mandy and me jabber. That's if this is fun and enjoyable for you, we'll do this more often when we're on these streams. Or if you prefer to do more of the tours and those kinds of things, I'll try to figure out how to make that happen even when we're remote. So just feedback is always welcome, and we so appreciate this community for the feedback. So that is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we are getting a lot of love from everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Alphinius, have a great day at SaltCon, and I was gonna say, may all your adventures be sticky, but
well, why don't you, cameraman? You should say it. I'll just mouth it. Go. Go.
Oh, and may all your adventures be sticky. Ha ha!